control of the council, NHS created last compliant under GDPR and Data Protection Act 2018. Data collected through any recording live streaming will be retained in accordance with the Compliant Council's data protection policy, including but not limited to for the purpose of keeping historical records and making those records available via the council's internet site or YouTube. The meeting will be recorded or live streamed to fulfil a public task obligation to enable members of the public to observe the democratic process. So, if we would like to kick off, item number 1, apologies, substitutions and declarations of interest.
We have apologies for absence from Councillor Lynn Quinn and Councillor Sandra Reynolds and Charlene Elliott with Vicky Boney substituting. We'll now move to a roll call before asking for the declarations of interest. Can the following members please indicate if present at the meeting either in person or remotely? David Gould.
In person.
Alan Cowan.
Yeah, in person.
Diana McCrowan.
In person.
Vicky Boney.
Remotely.
Are there any declarations of interest?
No, thank you for that. Can everyone hear me online? Can I just check? Any thumbs up? Excellent, thank you, Vicky. So if we can move on to items for action, item number 2, minute of the meeting of the IGME Audit Committee on 25th of March 2024. I don't propose we go through this page by page, but does anyone have any comments to raise or any amendments? Around the room and online, I've seen nothing, so can we take those minutes as approved, please? Thank you very much. So move on to item number 3, the Audit Committee rolling annual plan. And I believe, Craig, you are going to be head for that today.
Thank you very much to yourself. This is our standard rolling annual work plan that we bring forward every cycle, and it just highlights what the main reports that we're working on, the plan of action for the next couple of cycles. So I think it's fairly straightforward and self-explanatory, but as always, happy to take any questions anyone might have.
Colleagues, do anyone have any questions, or does anyone have any questions? Nothing. Don't mind, Craig. I have just one question in terms of the activity going forward for September 24 and March 25. Can we take it that these are all on schedule? There's no reason to think that these won't be undertaken.
For yourself, I know of no reason why these can't be done.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, everyone, if we can now move on to item number 4, the internal audit progress report on the 2nd of March to the 1st of June 2024. And I believe, Craig, this is you again.
Thank you very much for yourself. In Vicky's absence, I'm happy just to open up, just say a few words about it. This is internal audit progress report covering the period of the 2nd of March to the 1st of June. In the report, it just highlights the main audit work that's been done in the last number of months, and just some of the recommendations, just a few things to highlight. Just to highlight, probably the big one is the missed deadlines as such, but they're all still underway. It's mentioned there about just on section 4, it just highlights some of the updated parts that we've given, and a few of these have been moved into September. So they're all still on track from where we're looking, and they're all okay as far as I'm concerned. But happy to take any questions anyone might have.
Colleagues online in the room, any questions? Yeah.
Yeah, I know we were looking at the amount of cash handling. Was that to do with the number of sites that this happens in?
The cash handling is one of the standard audits that we're doing, but on the back of that, just to give you a bit of reassurance that we're actually looking at a review within the SMT at the moment to look at cash handling, to look at how we take that forward. One of the areas we're potentially looking about is looking at the number of applications that we have for cash handling, perhaps trying to centralise that process, but that's still a bit of ongoing work at the moment. It's only just kicked off in the last few weeks, but once we've got an update on that, we will bring this back probably to full ID, just to give it an update as well. But we're also happy to feed it through the audit process as well.
Alan?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Craig, it's just another one of missed deadlines. It's really just to tidy up a loose end. So the workforce planning arrangements action, which is kind of due the end of July, I guess, 1st of August. I think it's a question a bit like David's. Are you confident that work is going to be completed by the next time the committee meet?
I am. That particular one, I think it's more about putting it onto the Pintana system, which I know is actively something that we're looking at the moment. So I don't see any issues with that.
Colleagues, any other questions for Craig? In the room, I'm saying nobody. Okay, in that case, thank you for that, Craig. If we then move on to action number 5, the status of the external audit action plans.
Through yourself again, this is a report that gets brought on a regular basis. All the more important at the moment because we're at the year end and we're at the draft account stage. This just highlights the work that we've done this year that's came from external audit action plans, and we're pleased to be joined today by a couple of members from external audit as well. Just to highlight to everybody, the main areas that we look at is in the appendix, and it shows that where we've done work on it. We're pleased to see that out of all the actions there's 4 of them have been completed, and 1 of them is still outstanding. That relates to the integration schemes, which is still ongoing at the moment. So we're hoping to bring something back for the next cycle as to the updating on that position. But as always, happy to take any questions anyone might have.
Colleagues, do we have any questions for Craig?
Yeah. Again, Craig. So it's about so we're talking about our external audit. So I'm looking at the risk management work, and I know the external auditors have said to go away, have a fresh look at your risk management strategy, and bring it up to date. And the management approaches, we're happy with what we've got. Maybe just outline what the process was that got you to that point. Maybe I'm just assuming you've looked at it and had a scrutiny on it and decided you don't need to change much. But I get the sense from it, the auditors said, look at it probably because it's out of date or needed to be refreshed. We don't appear to have refreshed anything, although we do, from what you said, appear to have actually reviewed it and say we're happy. Maybe just say a bit of word about the process.
To be honest with you, that probably is, to yourself, Chair, that probably is the best way to describe it. We have looked at it as an SMT, and we feel that what we do at this particular time is appropriate for what we need. But as is always the case in any situation, it's something that we're going to keep under review, and it's something we will look at in the future to see if there's more work we can do on it, as we always do. We're very fortunate now that we're working in conjunction with the partners in the council, who we've recently got a service with them, a particular post came into place. It's going to specifically look at risk. So we'll be working with them in the coming months where we can maybe develop that a bit further. For example, risk appetite statements, that kind of thing. So this is all stuff that we are going to be looking at in the coming months.
Thank you, Craig, and thank you for the question, Alan. Do we have any other questions or comments for Craig at this point? Around the room, I see nothing. In that case, we can accept that. Thank you very much, Craig. Excellent. If we now move on to item number 6, external audit, annual audit plan. Now, we've got colleagues here from KPMG today, and you're going to speak to this initially. Is that correct, Craig?
We're just basically going to introduce Mike and Timer here from our partners in KPMG. So I'm not going to say any more about this, but I'm going to pass over to one of them, if that's okay. If you're okay to say a few words.
Thank you. I'll start. I'm Michael Wilkie, the engagement leader responsible for delivering our audit, and supported by Tamer, the engagement manager, who's joined me today. As said, this is our draft strategy for the audit for the year ended 31st of March. It sets out our planned approach to the audit, including the initial assessment of risk, our focus areas, logistics. It remains draft whilst our risk assessment and planning work is ongoing. I won't go through it all in detail, but draw your attention to 2 pages in particular. So our document, page 4 or 9 of the PDF, sets out materiality, and that's a key number which drives the extent of testing in our audit and the overall approach. We've based that on around 2.25% of total expenditure. That's based on the prior year accounts, and we will update it, which has a materiality level therefore of £5 million. We design our procedures to detect misstatements, whether by fraud or error, at a lower level of £3.75 million. And where we identify any misstatements, whether or not they're corrected by management, we will report them back to committee where they exceed £250,000, or if we consider that they are material by nature. So, for example, if they related to omission of a particular disclosure. On the next page, we summarise what I consider to be the significant audit risks and focus areas. Significant risk is an important definition under audit standards because it mandates a certain level of work. There are two which are presumed to exist by audit standards in any audit. One related to management's ability to manipulate when income is recognised, and in a public sector context, also expenditure. And second, management's unique position to be able to potentially override controls, so two presumed fraud risks. I've stated in this strategy that I expect to rebut that first presumed risk around manipulation of income and expenditure recognition, and that's largely because of the nature of the Joint Board's operations, the funding by the partner bodies, which has a lower degree of judgment involved. It's for a particular year, and therefore there is more limited opportunity or indeed incentive to manipulate when it is recognised. I do accept that second presumed risk, management's ability to potentially override controls, as I do on all audits, and will design our procedures to respond to that. There's one other focus area, which is around ensuring completeness and accuracy of the income and expenditure which is recorded in the accounts, which is largely based on information provided by the Council and the NHS Board. There are no significant changes to our timetable or our approach overall as compared to the prior year, and within the appendices we also note our independence, the level of fee and the various responsibilities both of us as auditors and of the Board as those charged with governance. There's nothing else I would intend to say on our strategy, though happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Michael, for that. I will open it up to colleagues. Colleagues, do you have any questions for Michael or Taylor at this point? Around the room? No. Alan does. Indeed, Alan?
Yes, it's really a straightforward question. I know in the past we've had, and maybe this is because of COVID overhang and things like that, but we've had some challenges getting these pieces of work done by the 30th of September. I just wonder if you might reflect on how confident you are in bringing this in on time this year.
So we have planned with management to work towards conclusion by the statutory deadline at the end of September and publication of our report by the end of October. I am confident that that should be achievable. We did almost achieve that last year despite the later start and the challenges of it being a first year audit. That said, if something comes to rise late in the audit process or we're not complete, then it's incumbent on me to delay completion of the audit until we are completely satisfied. But we're planning to achieve the deadlines in fact the Board has in many previous years.
Thanks for that, Michael. Anyone else around the table or online? No, I'm not seeing anything. Michael, Taylor, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
If we can then move on, colleagues, to the final item of the day, the internal audit assurance statement. And again, great stuff. It's a great day.
Once again, thank you very much to Davis, Chair. In Andy's absence, I'm happy just to give a wee update here on the internal audit annual report and assurance statement. Overall, relatively pleased and happy with the contents of it. It highlights again that we've come back with a satisfactory opinion, taking into account both internal audit functions from Inverclyde Council and NHS Greenock and Clyde. As is always, they make a few highlights and a few recommendations there. And I think the biggest one for us is more around some of the work that was due to be done this year, because of various absences, etc., has slipped into the next financial year. But generally, looking at it from my view, I don't see anything significant in what's done there. And obviously, as an HSCP, we're willing to have a satisfactory outcome to it. But as always, happy to take any questions from anyone.
Open up to colleagues. Any questions for Craig this morning? No? Okay, in that case, I just have one question. That's in terms of audit plan delivery of the page 3, Craig. You mentioned there about staff absences and such like. Where are we looking at this? So, details how we're looking for going forward in terms of being able to ensure we can be.
So that particular audit action is one that's done on behalf of the whole council as a party. Obviously, as part we have a significant amount of HSCP staff members getting council contracts as well. So it's a wider review that's been done. But I suppose I just want to give assurance to today as an SMT that we do collectively work in absence management, and it's one of the things that's right at the forefront of what we're dealing with now. To say my two colleagues beside me know exactly at SMT that this is something that we're taking very, very seriously, and we're looking at it doing more regular reviews, and we're doing a more intense process on absence management going forward.
Thank you very much for that, Craig. Colleagues, any other questions at this point? Are we content? Excellent. In that case, I draw this meeting to a close. Before we do, I'd just like to personally thank Alan. Sorry, you don't get a weekly sleep for all his hard work over the years, and also his counselling guidance to me as well. Enjoying that IGIB has been utterly invaluable, and the knowledge he's imparted to me has made my life massively easier, and I've certainly learned a lot in the 2 years I've had the privilege of working with Alan. So I'd just like to say from a personal perspective, as well as on behalf of the committee, thank you very much, Alan. I'd like to wish you the very best in the future. And with that, everyone, thank you very much.